think it should slowly fade in as if we've been just here for hours.
Yeah.
Which we have been.
Hello and welcome to Rock and Roll on Action, where we choose a random year and take a deep dive into one film and one album from that year. It's not very deep dive, but it's a dive nonetheless.
Yes.
I'm JJ Ehringer, I'm a filmmaker who loves music.
And I'm Sean Wade, a music maker who loves films.
And this is our show. Alright, the Cold War is sweeping the world. The IRA are terrorizing Britain. Men at Work released Down Under, and Return of the Jedi is taking over the box office. That's right, it's the year that the seatbelt law came into action in the UK, so strap in!
Oh, wow.
Because it's 1983.
Did you plan that?
Isn't that good?
Yeah, that was really good.
I was excited when I found out that that was a thing that happened in 83, so I could say that.
All right, strap yourselves in, because we've got a great show for you tonight.
We absolutely have.
What are we doing?
We're doing David Cronenberg's most controversial film up to that point, Videodrome.
Yeah.
He actually released two films in 1983. It was Videodrome and The Dead Zone, which, have you seen that? Christopher Walken?
No.
Good
No.
film.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen Videodrome either. Just kidding. That's, I did my homework.
Yeah. Oh,
I hadn't seen it before.
Had you not?
No.
I had tried to watch it twice.
Yeah.
And didn't ever finish it either time.
Oh.
Yeah, our album is...
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Hi, that's such a weird way of saying it. I'd say, hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? That's how I say it.
Yeah,
Let's dive into that. We're going to jump into the film first.
Yeah, let's do the film first. So,
Daniel Cronenberg.
No.
Daniel Cronenberg.
Daniel Cronston.
Yeah.
Daniel Quasson.
So who was he? What was he like? What
David
did he do?
Cronenberg.
Yeah.
What did he do? Let me bloody tell you.
Oh,
He's a
you wrote stuff down.
Yeah. So David Cronenberg's a Canadian filmmaker. He's very much known for basically inventing the body horror subgenre.
Yeah. He did The Substance.
He didn't do The Substance.
Well, that was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the only one that matters now.
Yeah.
Why do we even have others, frankly?
I know. So I'll say, I'd heard about this film, Videodrome, The Videodrome. I'd heard the premise, this...
Yeah, the premise isn't what I thought it was.
I knew it was something to do with one of them obscure stations that you just can stumble across. And I knew someone uncovered some sort of mystery over that,
Oh, right. See, I thought it was about a guy who got sucked into the TV and then he had to escape the TV world. That was sort of...
Isn't that
for some
Tron?
reason what I had in my head. Yeah, I thought it was like, well, this is a year after Tron, so
Okay.
it sort of makes sense. It could have been, that
Okay.
kind of thing. But no, it's not that at all. James Woods plays a sleazy TV exec. He runs this channel that's all sort of lowest common denominator.
Softcore porn and
Yeah.
dodgy, cheap, violent stuff. We start the film and he's, they're in a boardroom, they're watching some...
Yeah, and I love the way that scene is shot. They're trying to sell him a show called Samurai Dream.
Yeah.
Which is just soft porn.
Yeah.
But the way that they come in, they've got like the tapes in this suitcase. It sort of feels like a drug deal, the way that they're kind of all crowded around. It's like, oh, here it is,
Yeah.
He says, only show me the last episode. He doesn't care about the content and the art of what's in there. It's just like...
Yeah.
That's where all the action will be. Just show me that.
I love how 80s it is. You don't see cheap pornos that look like that with all the fog and
I love the fog.
moonlight.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's real classy stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's it's supposed to be crap.
Yeah, but it looks pretty
it
good.
looks good.
Yeah,
I think I'd watch it.
Well, of course, you watch anything.
Yeah, that's true. I watched Videodrome.
Yeah. So next, he's looking for the next big thing.
Yeah.
Looking to make a quick buck on something violent. So Harland comes to him, his
He's
mate.
a nerd.
Yeah, just a nerd.
He's a nerd with glasses.
Yeah, the worst kind.
Yeah, he does like technology and stuff, He just knows it.
He's like Hacker Man in Kung Fury.
Yeah, exactly.
And he comes along and he says, I found this great new channel called Videodrome.
Yeah.
It's coming from Malaysia. And it's just violence all day. It's just torture and killing and sex. And that's exactly what Max is looking for. But little does he know, but it's not coming from Malaysia. It's coming from
Pittsburgh.
God's United States. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Virginia.
Wow.
I don't think that's it.
No,
that
Pittsburgh,
was a guess.
Ohio.
Philadelphia. Is that
Yeah.
a state? I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's a cheese.
It's a cheese. Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out this show is pushing out a frequency that makes you hallucinate.
Yeah.
And the whole thing goes down deep, and he ends up down this rabbit hole of, what do you call it? Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. The whole
Yeah.
film is
It is
based
fantastic.
around this sort of concept that someday the screens will control us, not the other way around,
Yeah.
which is the world now.
I mean, it seems to me like it's saying it was already the case. There's an element of this film that does feel like it's, an old man going, yeah, look at how society is ruining the kids. Like this is, when I was a kid, even 20 years after this film came out, all these fears about TV were still
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
big problem at the time. You were always hearing about violence.
People always talk about it, though, in like video
Yeah.
games and Call of Duty being like, well,
Yeah.
kids killed other kids because they played Call of Duty or something, And it was heavy metal music before
Yes.
that, and it was, and then it was D&D.
Dungeons and yeah, exactly, yeah. It's nuts. There's always going to be some sort of moral panic going
Yeah,
on,
exactly. I don't think that this film is that. What I find interesting is that so many of the conversations that they have in the film is all about the morality of showing violence on film and stuff like that, which obviously David Cronenberg does and did.
Mhm.
And I wonder how much of the back and forth that they have, the characters in the film, like especially on that interview when he's on the TV interview
Yeah.
with Debbie Harry, who's also in this from Blondie.
No, Deborah Harry.
Yes,
That's how she's
credited as
credited, yeah.
Deborah Harry.
It's a different person, actually.
I wonder how much of that is just copied and pasted stuff that people have said about his films, Like this is a year after Scanners, which is
Yeah.
exploding heads and
Yeah.
all sorts of things, So I was like, I should sit down really and watch whatever film he made before this and whatever film he made
yeah.
afterwards. But I'd actually seen them both, so
Oh.
that was nice. It was Scanners and Dead Zone.
Ah,
You seen any Cronenberg? You've seen The Fly?
I've seen The Fly.
Yeah.
Is that his most accessible film, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah.
Because I just thought that was what it was going to be like,
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I was quite shocked at how surreal it was, really. I don't know if
Yeah.
any of his other stuff's like that.
I'd say it mostly is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite hard to grasp sometimes.
The final reel especially, I feel
Yeah.
like it just kind of starts doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I don't know if we'll get to this later, but like the grenade comes out of his belly
Oh.
and blows a guy up.
Yeah! Harland, the aforementioned nerd, has a bizarre death. He just explodes.
Yeah.
And it's just a hard cut from him standing there to just an explosion in the same place.
Like the whole wall blows up.
Yeah, I mean, mostly the effects hold up remarkably. Like, I think
Yeah.
this looks incredible. Rick Baker
Yeah.
did the effects, who did American Werewolf in London and loads of stuff, and he's, I think, the best to have ever done it.
Yeah.
But there's just this one effect of just a dude that just blows up. And this is like 5 years after The Fury, Brian De Palma, where, slight spoilers for The Fury, a film that no one talks about or watches, John Cassavetes plays the villain, and his full body explodes at the end, and it is just the most spectacular thing I've ever seen in anything. I wish in our film Rapture, when the fallen savior's head explodes, that it could have been at least 1/10 the body explosion that is The Fury.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what this needed. It needed
Yeah.
some blood and guts and to really sort of spread some viscera.
The only times there was blood and guts, it really seemed completely out of nowhere to me. Like there was one bit where like some guts like flew out of the TV for no reason.
Well, it's the new Flash, I guess.
Right.
And
And then
in the Flash.
the only really disgusting special effect was near the end when
Barry Convex.
he just randomly just like starts melting.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
does that happen?
I have a theory about this.
And it's so gross. It's great.
Rick Baker and Rob Bottin, who did The Thing,
Yeah.
they were close friends, and Rick Baker was originally signed on to do The Howling, the Joe Dante werewolf film, which came out the same year as American Werewolf in London. But he'd agreed to do American Werewolf years before, so when that ended up finally going into production, he told Joe Dante, he was like, I'm sorry, I can't do the werewolf effects for The Howling, but I'll get Rob Bottin to do it for you. And so then the two of them were sort of they were both releasing werewolf transformation films in the same year, and it was kind of like going up against each other. And Rick Baker won. Like, the American Werewolf transformation is better than anything, but Rob Bottin's is great. And then a year after that, Rob Bottin did The Thing, which is probably still to this day the best, body horror, weird effects on anything ever. And so I kind of think that Rick Baker saw The Thing and he was like, I want to do that. That looks fun.
That makes sense.
Because it just does randomly just sort of turn it, like it does look like an effect from The Thing. The way his body just starts melting and morphing, and it's completely out of nowhere. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, the whole point is that you don't know what's real and what's not, because at this point he's hallucinating constantly. Yeah. And Cronenberg specifically shot it so that you couldn't tell what was, like he didn't use a wide-angle lens for the hallucinations, or like he wanted it all to look consistent. Yeah, right. But it does confuse things. Yes. Yeah, and I totally think that was just him just being like, I want to do something weird and creepy like The Thing.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, maybe even better than The Thing effects. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if anyone could beat him, it would be Rick Baker.
Exactly. But yeah, just that element of the hallucinations blending in with everything else. Yeah. It does make it hard to grasp onto as a film, especially the first time you watch it. I do think it's the sort of film I need to see a few times to work out how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's interesting, because both times I watched it before, I got up to the sort of vaginal stomach opening.
Okay. Well, then just said, I'm not watching this.
No. So the first time I was watching it was when I was a kid, and I was watching it with my folks, and they were just like, whoa, we're going to turn this off.
Oh, man.
And I was like, come on, it's just getting good. And so it always sort of stuck in my mind. I was like, I really want to finish that. It was just a few months ago, actually, that I finally revisited it. And I was watching it really late at night, and I just fell asleep at exactly the same point. I saw him put his hand inside his stomach, and then I was just out like a light.
Well, I think that was a sign that you weren't supposed to ever watch this film. You might be cursed now and die. I don't know.
You think the film puts out that frequency?
Well, even before I'd seen it, I was thinking, is this going to be like The Ring or something? You know, you're going to get cursed from watching this particular channel or whatever. Yeah, I have to say, my idea of what the film was going to be like influenced how I was slightly disappointed when I watched it, because I thought, it's not how I imagined it. I was hoping it would be more atmospheric, weirdly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, that's why I love The Thing. It's the music, the isolation. It's just this feeling throughout the whole film. This film doesn't have that in the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite that impending sense of doom, that constant paranoia, which you would... I feel like it starts building towards that at the end, and then it just kind of just takes it a step too far. Like, you get this sort of starting sense of it, and then as soon as he just becomes brainwashed by The Thing, and it loses it a bit. You want some dread. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, maybe it was the music. I don't even remember the music. I think
there's some really interesting music in there. The one bit that works really well is when, I think it's Debbie Harry breathing, but it sort of blends with a sort of synth kind of sound, and it's sort of like this coming together of the organic and the synthetic, which is, I'd say, what this film is about, but it's what all of his films are about. Yeah. And that worked really well. Yeah. I can't remember what scene that's in. There's just this sort of... Yeah. And it's just sort of like pulsing and weird. Yeah. But other than that, it's not particularly memorable as a story.
No. Sorry to whoever did the music.
It's Howard Shore.
It is, isn't it?
Rings, yeah.
Well, he's terrible, so you know. Yeah. But I do feel a bit bad because I didn't pay that much attention to the music. So I don't want to diss him too much. Maybe some people love it, love the music in this. I don't know.
The score is something I usually do notice, and the production design is something I never think about. Yeah. Whereas in this film, I was really looking at the background in every room. Just there's all of these sort of weird little details everywhere.
Oh, really?
Like in... Well, actually, this is kind of cheating because I saw this in a behind-the-scenes documentary. But in his office, there's just a noose just hanging in his office, and then only made it into a deleted scene. Yeah. But he's got, like... His apartment is just full of... Every wall is pasted with tons of posters and stuff. And he's got a crucifix on the wall, and he's got this sort of weird photo of Hitler in a tutu as a ballerina with a swastika on. And I don't know if that's because they talk about the reason the Videodrome is dangerous is because it's got a philosophy. And I wonder if that's sort of, the sort of ultimate philosophy of evil is the Nazis, I guess,
Yeah, and we're not saying the Nazis were bad, Cut that out.
Or any neo-Nazis in the audience today?
Yeah, we see you. Don't put that.
He's got a big, massive, wall-sized poster of just TV static, which obviously, links in with everything. And then, sort of strange stuff, like he's got a bird cage in his apartment. And I couldn't tell what was in it, but it looks like there's a crucifix in it. Everything about the background just adds this sort of disturbing little element of just what's going on. And it's very overwhelming. It's like there's a lot of overstimulation, which they talk about, like the overstimulating environment. I think in the TV interview. Professor Brian O'Blivion.
Yeah. But he's based on someone, apparently.
He is. Marshall McLuhan, who might be who I'm quoting, I'm not sure. He talked about the impact of technology and being aware of it and kind of essentially predicted the internet, but in the 60s sort of thing. And Barry Convex, the villain.
Yeah.
Convex, because
he's fat.
Because he makes glasses.
Ah, yeah.
And you get convex lenses.
Ah.
And also a TV screen.
Clever.
CRT screen is convex. Like that. And he's based on the televangelist Tim Backer.
Tim Backer. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a close relative of Chewbacca. Tim Backer is, he's played by Andrew Garfield in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. No, I don't think anyone watches it on there because it's got the worst poster. It looks like it's the Kardashians or something.
Oh, really?
It's actually a brilliant film from a couple of years ago. It was really good. And it's about them and the sort of whole televangelist sort of money-grabbing schemes, which... I think it makes sense to base him on him because that's kind of evil through the airwaves. I think that speaks to the power of television, televangelism.
Yeah.
But you see a photo of these guys next to each other and they just look identical. Yeah. They found a guy who just looks exactly the same haircut, same...
He does look like a televangelist.
He does. He's got that weird
something
vibe
about him, yeah. He's an actor, right?
He's an actor.
He just looks like he shouldn't be an actor. He looks like he should be a televangelist.
No, he's an actor.
No,
I think everyone in this is an actor, except Debbie Harry.
Yeah, and James Woods.
I always thought of James Woods as a bit of a pound shop Roy Scheider.
Yeah, I watched this and I thought, is he good in this? I didn't think he was. He's fine.
I don't think he's bad. I just think...
No, he's not bad.
I've never thought of him as a leading man, and there's quite a lot of 80s films where they kind of put him in the lead. I mean, I don't know if it's just because script-wise, like, you understand his philosophy and his intellectual approach to life, but you don't really get much of him as a person on an emotional level or anything.
I don't think he has emotions, really.
Yeah, but that's dull.
He's like one of those modern guys who just, I don't know, just buys Bitcoin. To me, he's like, he doesn't have a personality other than making money. But he's not a good protagonist.
I think where the film falls down is that it is purely intellectually involving rather than emotionally involving. And I think that it does try to play on paranoia and be creepy and sort of affect you emotionally in that way. I don't really buy into his obsession with Nikki, Debbie Harry's character. I mean, they spend a couple of nights together, and even within the context of the film, it's purely sexual. Like, there's no sense that they want to be together. And
he doesn't even like her, like her personality. I think she kind of scares him a bit.
Yeah, and yet she's the sort of main focus of all of his hallucinations.
Yeah.
I feel like you could talk for hours just about the philosophy of the film and sort of what it's saying, but I don't know that how it says it is always as impactful as it is in some of his other stuff.
And I agree with what you said about it's working on an intellectual level rather than emotional. You're not going to come out of this like, oh, I'm really sad that he died or something.
Yeah, spoilers, he died.
He doesn't die.
That final scene, though, I thought it was really funny that it's basically the start and end of Rapture in one, because it's the Rapture, our film, and it starts on the TV going into the CRT, and then it ends with him behind the flames of the fire, and the shot of him with the flames in the foreground is identical. And then he sees himself on the TV,
Yeah.
sort of zooming in.
There
the
was a
same
few
way.
moments watching this where I did think, oh, this is like our film. Like, it felt like we were inspired by it,
Yeah.
which we weren't.
No.
But, I thought we did a good job of trying to
Capture that
emulating that sort of 80s feel,
Yeah.
to be honest. I think I was kind of hoping he was going to jump in the fire at the end. Yeah, I just thought that would be the way to do it. Like him just killing himself, just falling into the fire in front of him. I mean, why else was the fire there? Just him going like this. It's just like The Room, you know.
At least he didn't still drive around and grab his crotch after he'd done it.
Listen, I just think ending any film with someone shooting themselves in the head is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that as an ending, really.
Do you think the new flesh is a thing, or that is purely a figment of his hallucination?
I didn't really understand that.
Well, because he pulls the gun out, like,
Yeah.
so about halfway through the film, he drops the gun inside his stomach. And then when he goes to kill his business partners, when he's brainwashed, he pulls the gun out of his stomach. And it's obviously purposefully vague in what is real and what is not, but kind of must be real. But then the way that the gun morphs into his hand and these tendrils come out, and it's like so iconically Cronenberg.
Yeah.
You know?
I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
Like more sort of man and machine.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a Tetsuo the Iron Man vibe.
Yeah.
Too. Have you seen that?
No, but I've seen.
It's
I know
the
what you
most
mean.
disturbing film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It really, I don't know if I'd feel the same now. When I watched it, it really freaked me out.
Yeah.
Really unsettled me, and feel like, it's kind of going for that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it disappears when he's walking into the office, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes it seem like
when
it's
he
not
shoots
real.
them, he doesn't have
Yeah.
prosthetics on his hand. There's also that sort of VR headset
that's
that he
great,
puts on his, which is a cool thing, and I thought it was going to come back.
Yeah.
It's just in one scene, this like, we've got this big new technology thing, we're going to record your hallucinations.
Yeah.
We never see what they do if they record his hallucinations. I thought at the end he was going to wake up and it was going to be like Playtest, that episode of Black Mirror, where he comes out, he's done all of this, and then he comes out of the hallucination. He's still got the thing on his head.
Yeah.
But that thing never comes back.
And I thought, you know, when he wakes up from that and he thinks he's killed someone.
Yeah, Marsha.
And he hasn't. I mean, I just thought it was going to go somewhere, that he was going to start
Yeah.
accidentally killing people. Or
It sort of goes round in circles more than it needs to.
Yeah.
All that's doing is just telling us he's hallucinating.
Yeah.
From a story point of view, it doesn't really do much else other than bring Harlan back into the story. Because he calls him and says, take a photo of what's in my bed, which doesn't really make sense either. I don't know why he does that.
I was thinking that's...
Because I thought that was him trying to prove to himself that she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But then he seemed shocked that she wasn't there when the guy says there's nothing there. So I don't know. It all feels a little...
I think he was trying to prove that it was real, but surely there's an easier way. Like, you don't need a picture. You could just ask someone to...
And also, you're number one suspect in that situation.
Yeah.
She's dead in your room.
Yeah. Well, these guys are best friends, you know. You can't tell. But they are, you know. They wouldn't rat on each other.
Yeah, he seems really betrayed when he finds out that guy's not on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the bit where Marsha is on the TV in Videodrome.
Yeah.
Like, so he starts hallucinating. He walks into the Videodrome set. So the Videodrome, the TV show within the film, Videodrome, the film, is just this sort of red room.
Yeah.
With an electrified mud wall at the back, and guys in S&M gear just come in and torture people, and that's sort of it. But he imagines himself on Videodrome, and he's whipping Marsha on the TV. And Marsha's all tied up, dressed in Debbie Harry's clothes.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought it was Debbie Harry. It was only when I rewatched that scene I was like, oh, no, that's not even her.
It changes, doesn't it? It starts as Debbie Harry and changes.
Oh, and then it becomes her.
I think so.
Or maybe.
Yeah.
Because then he starts whipping the TV and the camera sort of zooms in, and he's just effectively whipping us.
Yeah. Or he's an old man, like, I hate this contraption.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
What is Nathaniel Cronenberg trying to say about this film? What's his point? Is it just playing with the idea that, you know, the panic at the time, he's just playing with that concept a bit?
I think so, and I think that it's obviously been subjected to all of these criticisms. They call it the hypodermic needle theory, that whatever you see on TV is just like a needle that as soon as you see it, you'll want to emulate it, and it sort of doesn't take into account any of your life experience or anything like that, or your intelligence at all. It's just, well, you see what's there, and then you emulate it. So that's...
I do think that sort of idea just treats us like we're all stupid.
Yeah.
Like we just see something we have to copy, like as if we don't have any agency.
Yeah. And so I think he's playing with, well, here's what that would actually look like.
Yeah.
You know, and we know what this
That makes
isn't what
sense.
it is, sort of thing. But then he equally correctly predicts the state of screens and their impact on our current day lives.
Yes. Yeah, you could still make something like this today, modernized.
But I don't think it would have the impact because it
No.
seems so obvious. I mean, we've seen so many
Exactly.
films now which are like, phones are making us zombies, you know, and it's sort of... Like, yeah, we get it. We know.
Yeah. It's gone past the point that people care. I don't think people even say that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. It's not gonna shock, I suppose.
It's over. Every generation is addicted to phones, apart from the 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
But, you know, the 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, they're all addicted to their phones now. So they're not complaining anymore. They're not the ones going, oh, look at them on their phones. They're the ones also looking at their phones.
Yeah, they don't notice anyone's on their phones because they're
looking. Yeah, they only see people using their phones on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're just looking at videos of people on their phones.
Like, bloody kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna look at Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
That's me.
Yeah. You're an old head. Oh, I can imagine that this film probably did terrify people in the way that they were like, look, I was right. TV is making people violent. Like, look at this film, you know.
I think that the people who would be freaked out by that, though, aren't the sort of people to watch a David
But they would have,
Cronenberg
they would have heard about it, wouldn't they?
Yes,
This is the sort of film that surely, you know, people would read about in the newspaper and go, oh my God, you see what they're making these days?
Yeah, I think at the time it was his most shocking, or considered shocking.
Yeah.
I think actually probably Shivers and Rabid and stuff, like his early stuff, is more actually shocking, but it's just no one saw it or knew about it.
Those are just words. I've never heard of those films. You could have said any words. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, back to Videodrome.
Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, I'd like to just briefly touch on how good it looks. It's got this sort of noirish look to it the whole time. It was shot by Mark Irwin, who he did a load of early Cronenberg. He started with him on The Brood, which I've been wanting to watch for years and still haven't watched. He did RoboCop 2, and he did Scream.
Oh.
Yeah, and he also did just a load of comedy stuff too. Like he did Dumb and Dumber, and he did, I think, Something About Mary. But it's got this real sort of stylish, dark look to it, kind of thing.
I also liked how, and I don't know the technicalities of this, it didn't seem very clean on the version I saw.
They talk a lot in interviews about how they wanted it to just feel very natural and normal looking, and that was specifically for blending the hallucinations with real life so that you're confused like he is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look normal, it looks stylish.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole scene in his apartment where the whole thing is just lit with the Venetian blinds, like classic noir kind of look, and the effects just hold up perfectly, I think, like apart from that one shot we said. But when he's digging into his stomach, it just, I didn't question that at all. I mean, it just looks real. And when he's up against the door, Barry Convex pushes the VHS into his stomach while he's standing there, which I think it must be
unbelievable.
It must be a full prosthetic body, and he's just stuck his head through the door. But you cannot. I was looking for a seam, and you cannot see. Like, it just looks faultless.
Yes, it does. Yeah, amazing.
And again, when he's sat on the sofa as well, and he's sticking his hand, like, it must be just a fake stomach, but it just looks so good.
Yeah.
There was nothing about the effects that ever dragged me out of it at all.
No.
The only thing that ever dragged me out of my involvement was just the fact that I wasn't particularly emotionally involved. Like, it was just sort of purely an intellectual exercise.
Yeah. It reminds me of another film that I maybe like a bit more, by Roman Polanski, called The Tenant.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also about a kind of weird guy who's basically goes nuts, and you start to not really know what's real and what isn't. That was what I was kind of hoping it was going to be like a bit more.
Right.
In a way.
Well, the comparison I often hear is Network, which I think is the best screenplay ever written. And it's nothing like that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. It's a good film. I'd like to give it another go.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with anything we said, you know, just Give us a comment somewhere.
Tell us all of the stuff that we missed. There's a lot of imagery in the film.
Yeah.
I didn't touch on much of it. I think that it's a really interesting film,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's a great film.
Yeah.
7 out of 10.
I'd give it a 6, just because it's not how I wanted it to be. But maybe if I watched it a few more times, I would be like, oh no, that's how it is, and I should accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, just before we do move on, I got one fun fact.
Can't wait.
Yes. That Cronenberg was approached to this same year direct Return of the Jedi.
So was David Lynch.
So was David Lynch. And I think that's really interesting because they ended
Yeah.
up going with Richard Marquand, who was quite a fresh face. But the fact that George Lucas pursued David Lynch not because he loved The Elephant Man, but because he loved Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Which is disturbing as hell.
Yeah.
And obviously everything Cronenberg had done is like dark and bloody, and
Yeah.
I would just wonder if Return of the Jedi was supposed to be darker, if there was supposed to be a sort of...
I think just George Lucas is a bit nuts. That's all. I don't know. I don't think there was any thought put into
just
it.
an interesting dude to go
Like,
for.
I like them. I'm gonna try and ask them to do it. That's my impression of George Lucas.
It's a good impression of
Thank
George
you.
Lucas.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What are we doing now? Daniel Johnston.
But first, a word from our sponsors. You never know.
Ladies and gentlemen, he headed out west, looking for the best, and he's here tonight. He says he's got a lot to get off his chest. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Daniel D. Johnston. That's how I keep punching Joe.
Yeah, I know, yeah. We're doing a great album, let's say, called Hi, How Are You? Or Hi, How Are You?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, How Are You? By the great Daniel Johnston.
The late grade.
So I only knew about this guy because you told me about him.
He's the ultimate underground sort
Yeah.
of outsider artist.
He's such a character,
I'm fascinated because I've obviously spoken about him a lot, but never with the context of speaking to someone else who knows who
Yeah.
he is.
I feel like you chose him at this time just so you could force me to listen to this album.
I did.
But I mean, that's what this is all about, what I mean?
Yeah. Daniel Johnston, for those of you who don't know, which presumably is a large chunk of the audience, he unfortunately died in 2019. He was an outsider artist, so he lived at home with his folks for his entire life. He worked in McDonald's for his whole life, just because he loved it. And he was a real sort of character, but really suffered with his mental health. And he would distribute his albums by recording straight to cassette in his parents' basement. He'd play on a little Casio keyboard and just sing over it. And I think a lot of, especially the early stuff, is not even multi-tracked, it's just, live. And he would just go around his local town. He'd give out tapes and to people who came into McDonald's, and he would give them a cassette and he'd say, "This is my music." And word kind of spread, and it ended up snowballing. He eventually ended up on MTV. When he was on MTV, he decided, I'm gonna just play guitar because that's what people do on MTV. Even though he couldn't play guitar, he played keyboard. And he learned for that.
Wow.
And he got a lot of recognition after Kurt Cobain wore a T-shirt with the "Hi, How Are You?" album cover on it. And it became sort of a thing, especially in the late 90s, that bands would sort of go on pilgrimages to meet him. And they'd go and they'd go to his parents' house and hang out with him, jam with him and stuff like that. And I think the Flaming Lips went, I think Wilco did. And he really sort of had a kind of a moment in the sun in the 90s. But this is way before all that. This is when he was just 22.
Okay.
In 1983, he released 3 albums, and then he released 2 albums called The Lost Recordings, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I don't know if they are lost recordings or if that's just what he called it and it was a bit of myth-making.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of tracks on here that sound like they might have been older as well, or he sounds younger. But it's the sort of thing that when you first hear it, you don't quite know what to make of it, I think. And so I'm very interested to see
I just remember
where you're at with it.
you played Daniel Johnston when we were hungover in the garden, and I think both of your parents were like, "What is this? Why are you playing this?" I think that was him.
Yeah, probably.
I had actually started listening to this album a while back. I can't remember why. I just put it on in the car or something, but I don't think I listened to the whole thing. It's very lo-fi. There is
As lo-fi as it gets.
Yeah, there is some overdubbing, I think.
Well, there's the final track, No More Pushing Joe Around. He's double-tracked.
Right, yeah, that's
I don't
right,
know whether that's him actually double-tracking
or
it,
he's just
whether
playing the tape and
Yeah.
singing over it. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's probably
What
what
do you
it
think?
is.
I couldn't tell.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. So most of it, he's just playing the piano. Sometimes he's playing, I don't know, like a ukulele or something.
I think that's just a preset on his keyboard.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I feel like I should have listened to it more closely now. And I think a couple of the songs he's playing along to a instrumental track from an album,
Yeah, it's
like a jazz album.
a bunch of big band stuff.
Johnny
by
Dankworth.
Johnny Dankworth.
He's
yeah.
British, isn't he?
I think so. He
Yeah.
did the original theme tune for the Avengers, the
Okay,
60s
yeah.
TV show, not the Marvel guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think George Martin was his producer.
oh, really? It sounds great. I listened to a bit of Johnny
Yeah.
Dankworth on the drive
Yeah.
over, and I was like, oh, damn. This is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's so 60s. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. I can understand why he thought, oh, I'm going to sing over this.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good tune. And I will say, I did think all the tunes were good. He's clearly got a knack for the tunes.
Yeah. Well, we said last week, we were like, well, we're going to take it track by track so that
Yeah.
you can listen along. And then we were about 2 tracks in when we realized that was a terrible,
Yeah.
terrible idea.
And it took hours, I
Yeah.
think.
But this is an album that I could absolutely
Yeah.
do that for. I could happily talk for as long as we spoke about the whole album last week.
Yeah, it's a
about-
short album as well. It
Yeah, it's like half an
it feels like it just flies by. I mean,
Yeah.
I keep putting it on and just it's just already finished, really quickly. But yeah.
But so because you produce as well,
hmm
so you've got a sort of an ear for enjoying nice production,
Mhm.
which, I enjoy nice production. Who doesn't? But it's
Yeah.
not something that bothers me. And I think that getting into Daniel Johnston in a way was almost part of my teenage rebellion because
Yeah.
my dad's a record producer.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of, I never had the tantrums and mood swings and
Yeah.
all that, but I did sort of have my little rebellion, which was getting into music that had no production
Yeah,
at all.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, and I just wonder what your opinion is, from
Well,
that sort of point of view.
It's not as jarring as you would think for me, because it just it sounds like demos,
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of the stuff. I record a lot of demos, and most of them are much worse than this. But I think there is something beautiful about a raw demo like this, and
Yeah.
they are demos really.
Yeah.
A lot of these songs could be, if he chose to, he could have turned them into, something more professional.
Yeah.
But he didn't need to. He chose not to. Well, I don't know.
He
Did he have
chose
the
to,
ability
so-
at the time to?
No.
Well, the
No, he
connections.
would end up in the studio in the late 80s.
yeah.
Half of 1990, which is the
Mm.
album I was going to save Daniel Johnston for.
Mm-hmm.
Because while this is the more iconic in the original sense of the word, and the sort of, the
Mm.
Jeremiah the Innocent Frog and the sort of
Mm-hmm.
the songs on 1990 are much more well known. But yeah, that's half home recordings and half studio, because
Okay.
it was supposed to be his first studio album, I think, but he had a mental breakdown in the
Oh.
middle of recording it, so he didn't end up doing a full studio album until 93, I think.
Yeah. It's funny. I do see a lot of similarities between him and Brian Wilson,
Yeah.
who I do love, but it's kind of like the opposite. Like Brian Wilson was the studio guy.
Yeah.
He was, he was about making the perfect mix.
Yeah.
But he also, famously, he couldn't complete his masterpiece, Smile, because he had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And he was also they both have this sort of childlike energy to
Yeah.
them. Not childish, really, but
No.
I haven't seen much interviews with Daniel Johnston. I did watch the Nardwar
Does
interview.
he do an Nardwar?
It's great,
That's
you
cool.
know.
Okay.
And it was the only one where Nardwar didn't freeze at the end. Like, he does for 5 seconds, and it's like he
Yeah.
didn't have the heart to do it.
Oh.
It's like, I don't want to make this guy feel uncomfortable or something. Because Daniel Johnston, he doesn't even notice. He's like, he does the freeze
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end. Like he just like starts turning around and he's like, look at all this stuff you gave me. It's great. He's completely oblivious.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it was great. He seems cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think for me, the reason that I love how sort of there's nothing there is that you can still hear all of his influences, like on most of his albums he does a Beatles cover or two, and this is one of the few that he doesn't do that. He makes mention of Hey Jude and Get Back and Hey Joe.
Hey Joe.
You can hear his influences, and so that kind of informs, I think, for me, the way that I hear the songs. Like, the first time I ever listened to him, it was Hard Times, which isn't on any album. It's on a series of videos that he did, which is compiled into a short film called Big Big World with the Rhythm Rats. So all there is just this one video of him playing the song, and he's playing it with the band. And the first time I heard it, I laughed. I was like, is this for real? I don't get it. And then even just by the time that song had finished, I was kind of into it. I was like, oh, well, okay, well, I want to hear more. And I think sitting down is, if you sit down with an album of Daniel Johnston, and you start out completely raw and you don't know what it is that you're listening to, and all you're hearing is what is presented, which is just a guy with a high voice singing, sometimes slightly out of tune, along to a warped tape, and there's just a Casio keyboard and nothing much to it. But you keep listening, and song after song, and the songwriting is so strong that because there's so little there, your brain starts to kind of fill in the gaps. And it ends up being such a personal experience, I think, because everyone who's listening to it is kind of hearing their own version of the music. Their brain is filling in the gaps in its own way, and you start to hear what you assume he's hearing in his head while he's playing it. And I've always found it really sort of surreally beautiful. It's almost the same concept about, like whatever you see in a horror film can never be as scary as what you don't see, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost the gaps, it's almost what's not there in Daniel Johnston's recordings, but I think make it so personal and touching and intimate and real. Like it feels like a sort of a tailored track to you. You're an active participant in it. You're creating the track while you're listening to it, and you hear so much more than what is actually there. Or at least I do.
Yeah. It's like it'd be the same with painting or something like that, It's, something slightly more minimalistic is gonna let you draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, it's almost like a Rothko. It's just kind of It's feeling
I like
and
that,
abstraction.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing that stood out to me, I mean, obviously the lyrics are really good.
They're brilliant.
Engaging. I don't know if that's the best word for them, but the more you listen to what he's saying, the more you really relate to him.
Yeah.
I don't really like to listen to depressing music because it just makes me depressed. And I felt that, especially the first time I listened to the album, I was like, this is starting to bring me down a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he's miserable,
But that's interesting, 'cause the way I've always thought of this album and just Daniel Johnston in general is this sort of ultimate alchemy. Because what he's saying is so depressing, essentially, and he's talking about is, depression and mental health. And yet there's a catharsis and a sense of joy that courses through it, and I feel like it's his escape, and it becomes an escape in itself by listening to it. I'm aware, especially on this album, and when he's talking about depression and being unwanted and things like that. I don't know, it just makes me smile. I smile when I listen to this album. And it also makes me listen to the world differently. I was listening to this on the drive over as well, and a car in front of me drove over a metal pole on the road, and it just rolled along the thing. And I was listening to Walking the Cow, and because I was in that mindset that it puts me in, where sort of I'm filling in the gaps anyway, it's sort of like the world itself became a musical instrument in the thing, like the sound of this metal rod rolling down the road sort of felt like an instrument, and it felt musical. It kind of changes. When I'm listening to Daniel Johnston, it changes the way I experience life.
It opens up your creativity.
Yeah. It's also incredibly inspiring as someone who, is not a musician in any real sense. But,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yes, I mean, I agree. Listening to it, I was thinking, I want to make something like this, you know?
yeah. I mean, he's 10 times the musician I am, but it feels so achievable.
Yeah.
And that's everything for creation. Steely Dan, for example, is a
Mhm.
band that people would, you know, love and listen to and delve deep into. But no one's going to listen to Steely Dan the first time and think, I could do that.
Oh, I could do that, yeah.
You know? You need
Yeah.
Bob Dylan. You need Daniel
yeah.
Johnston.
And who else was doing stuff like this before Daniel Johnston?
I don't know. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm sure it's not unique. There must have been
Yeah.
hundreds of teenagers sat in their rooms with tape recorders, you know. But in terms of people who wrote anything like what he did or were anything like as prolific as he was, I don't think that there's anyone who comes close to comparing.
Wesley Willis.
Oh, yeah. Well, apart from Wesley.
Yeah. Just the music's really good. I think he's really talented. I mean, I especially like the monkey. What's it called?
Yeah. Big Business
I
Monkey.
just think
Big Business. That's the one
it's
that's been
just a
stuck in my
good
head.
tune.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all good. You know, there's some artists who might do something like this, and you know, maybe they're really good at lyrics,
Yeah.
but they're lacking in the musicality. But
Yeah.
he can make something very musical and beautiful just from one instrument and a crappy tape recorder. It's very impressive. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, there's a real innate musicality to him. Like it feels, his lyrics feel poetically driven, and
Yeah.
they feel there's a sort of symmetry to Running Water, where the final chorus he says, "Running water, what are you running from?" And as nice as it feels symmetrical, like a mirror, you know, like running water, water, you running from.
I didn't
you know
even
what I mean?
notice
Like
that,
it just
yeah.
feels very. There's a lovely sort of flow to everything that he says, even in the ones where it's almost more sort of talky. There's a lot more talky stuff in this album than there usually is,
Yeah.
where it sort of feels more almost like beat poetry at times.
Yeah.
She called pest control.
Yeah. There's something about the things he chooses to put on the album, as it's like you can feel the joy of him wanting to make music. You can feel that, like
Yeah.
that. Sometimes he doesn't even play anything. He's just singing like lines that he's written or something. He might even be improvising.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there were a couple of bits where I wonder if it's improv sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your favorite track on the album?
I really like Big Business Monkey, just in terms of it being a boogie. You know, it's just fun. Despair Came Knocking is a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe the best lyrics on the album. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the ones where he sings to a jazz backing track
Yeah.
is great. Like
Keep punching, Joe.
Yeah.
I really like, again, the way that the lyrics switch around that, because it starts as like a motivational, keep punching, Joe.
Yeah.
And then turns
Oh,
around
yeah,
to keep
yeah.
punching, Joe.
yeah.
That's great. I'm a big nerd, so I like anything that's humor around a comma.
Yes. So and there's a few songs on here that are really short. I think
Yeah.
that I've forgotten. There's one that's like 10 seconds.
Yeah. No, the ones I've been singing constantly are No More Pushing Joe Around. I keep singing Big Business Monkey, and I'm a Baby in My Universe. It's just fun to sing. But Walking the Cow is the most iconic from the album,
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, I like that one.
which apparently is based on Bluebell butter. The packet has someone walking a cow on it.
Oh.
And he somehow turns a butter label into just an absolutely brilliant song.
Yeah, what's Walking the Cow? Well, they're all kind of about.
I'm walking the cow.
No, yeah. What are they about? I think they're all really about the same thing in a way.
Well, it's a lot about, wanting to be loved and not being loved, and a lot about just feeling poo.
Yeah, feeling sad that someone doesn't see you the same way you see them.
Yeah, and also just doesn't see you full stop, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, and I there is a link between this and Thunderdrome. Is his name?
Wow.
Videodrome.
You found a link.
Yeah.
I wanted to say how funny it is that we went from probably the two most interlinked film and album, out there,
Yeah.
to now two things that just couldn't be more different.
Well, no, they are similar, you see, because they both sum up my experience at uni very well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, go on.
Well, that doesn't what needs to be said.
You were obsessed with screens and nobody loved you.
Yeah.
And you shot yourself in the head.
Yeah, in a way.
Wow.
I think, they're both about loneliness in a way,
Yeah.
I think Videodrome, to me, it's just like this guy's going crazy because he doesn't have anyone,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's true. He's got nowhere to turn, no one to turn to.
I felt that at some point when he was in his house.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring up Videodrome again.
No,
but,
good.
In the middle of the night, and it just felt like this guy's just lonely, you know?
Yeah, and also the fact he slept with Debbie Harry once or twice or
Mm.
whatever, and that was enough that she is now the center of all of his visions and
Yeah.
like the entire anchor of his hallucinations and
Yeah.
fall. He doesn't have anyone else to obsess over. That's sad.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think
get that.
both of these things are about struggling to connect.
I mean,
with
Daniel
people.
Johnston was obsessed for his whole life, or at least up until, I think, 2005, The Devil and Daniel Johnston came out with a girl that he fancied at high school.
Laurie something?
I think Laurie, yeah. That's a great film. The Devil and Daniel Johnston is...
Yeah.
I think even if you have no interest in Daniel Johnston, it's just a bonkers documentary.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because it talks so much about his struggle with believing in demons.
Mm.
I mean, someone wrote in a comment on a YouTube video I saw years ago, so I might be misremembering, and I don't want to misquote anyone. I don't want to say that someone did something that they didn't bloody do, but they claimed that they were friends with Daniel Johnston, used to go around his house all the time when they were teenagers, and that his parents would tell him that the voices he would hear and his, mental anguish was demons inside his head, and like all medieval kind of shit like that, which obviously is not going to do anyone any favors. So I don't know if that's true, but they don't mention that in The Devil and Daniel Johnston. You certainly see a lot of, like he broke into an old lady's apartment one time and, started talking to her about devils and demons, and she was so scared that she jumped out of the second floor window and broke both her ankles. That was the only way that she felt she could escape.
Oh my God.
Like there's so many stories like that. Like the documentary doesn't even feel real at times, but it is. It's crazy. It's well worth a watch.
Okay.
And so like there's a lot going on behind the scenes and a lot of struggle. But I think he turns it into music that at least it uplifts me. I don't know. I mean, there are times when it doesn't. I mean, looking at other albums, he captures all sorts of things, and he's so open and willing to just put anything on these records, And I always think it's in a live recording of Funeral Home, but I don't think it is. There's a live recording of him singing something, and he's got the whole crowd singing along, kind of thing, and then he just starts breaking down and crying while he's performing the song, and you feel the whole room tense up and people sort of like murmuring and
Are you okay, man?
Yeah, I don't even know if there's that though. Like, it's just sort of like, oh God, are we supposed to be here? Are we supposed to be seeing this? Like it's not fun anymore, kind of. Yeah. And there are moments in the albums where you are arrested by that sort of reality of.
I see what you mean.
Of who he is, but I don't necessarily feel that with Hi, How Are You? If I'm honest.
It's Hi, How Are You? Yeah. It was enjoyable to experience. The only thing stopping it for me from feeling like a real, like, cohesive pop album is really just like the really short songs. Other than that, like, I don't care that it's really low fidelity. Yeah. It just feels like they're all great songs that could have been hits, really. Weirdly.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
But that's what I was probably most surprised about, because all I remembered was, they recorded them in his bathtub or something, and it's just a guy.
Running Water sounds like it's actually recorded in a bathroom.
Yes.
I don't know,
yeah.
But I'm really glad that we did Hi, How Are You?
So am I.
Because it's one of those albums I've listened to it a couple of times, but there's so much. He's made so many albums that like I have not revisited it as much as I should have, and I've really just enjoyed just listening to it more and appreciating, like you said, like all of his songs are really brilliant songs, and the fact that most of them aren't on any best of compilations apart from Walking the Cow, maybe Despair Come Knocking, doesn't say anything about the album. The album's absolutely bloody brilliant. Oh, let's end on a fun fact again, like I did.
I can't wait to hear this one.
The first Johnny Dankworth track that he sings over is called Desperate Dan.
Which
is nice.
That's good. Yeah. There we go. That's a good fun fact for you all there.
Is the Desperate Dan?
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, okay.
It's just a coincidence.
Oh.
It's
a fun one nonetheless.
Yeah. And well done, Dan, and thanks for all your great stuff you did. I'm guessing I only listened to this one, but Thanks for everything I've heard. It's been great. Thanks for bringing your stuff to the world. I don't know.
I would like to thank Daniel Johnston.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so would I.
I thank him. And I thank him for Jeffrey Lewis.
And Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh.
Sorry, downer.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
I think this episode was better or the same as last one. Maybe worse, actually. I don't know. If you want to follow us on the socials and all of that, then just follow Wired Weird. All of those details are down there. I guess you could follow us on Letterboxd, but I wouldn't.
No.
Thanks for listening. It's the end of the episode. Go away, do something better with your life while you're listening to this.
Have a great time.